if there is a theme to today's podcast, or tonight's podcast, as you have figured out by now, I'm certain, it's evil, 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 evil. We're talking, this part of my symposium on evil is about the COVID-19 surge in Texas, where the sitting governor, Greg Abbott, refuses to take a leadership position and mandate the use of masks or mandate vaccines or mandate anything, not even in the schools, knowing, as he does, that this virus is lethal. It's killing people. It's killing children. It's killed 600,000 plus Americans. And still, this evil little bastard, Greg Abbott, does nothing except beg for help from other states now. At least 2 hospitals in Houston have been so overwhelmed, according to the New York Times, with coronavirus patients this week, that officials now are doing what we saw a year ago, erecting overflow tents outside. In Austin, Texas, hospitals are almost out of beds in their ICUs. And in San Antonio, a spike in virus cases reached levels not seen in months. And as I mentioned before the break, with children as young as 2 months old, tethered to supplemental oxygen. And still, Greg Abbott does nothing. That's not evil. So across Texas, what's happening, health officials are warning of overloaded, strained hospitals, a growing crisis that has not existed in Texas since the very beginning of this year, 2021. And that's when a late winter wave of this virus deluged the state's healthcare system. You would think, wouldn't you, that the governor and the leadership of that state, the Republicans, would have realized what happened last January and February, and prepared for another surge. But no, they're busy issuing arrest warrants to Democratic members of the Texas House of Representatives who have fled Texas to avoid voting on a bill that will deny hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Texans the right to vote. That's the premier focus of the leadership, the political leadership, the Christian fascists in Texas. Right now, more than 10,000 Texans have been hospitalized this week. This is Thursday. And at least 53 hospitals in that state say they are at maximum capacity in their intensive care units. Dr. Esmail Porsa, you may have seen him on television. He's a top health official in Harris County, which is Houston. He told state legislators on Tuesday, quote, "If this continues, and I have no reason to believe that it will not, there is no way my hospital is going to be able to handle this. There is no way the region is going to be able to handle this. I am one of those people that always sees the glass half full. I always see a silver lining. But I am frightened by what is coming to Texas." End quote. Now, in recent days, Texas has averaged about 12,000 new cases a day, not hospitalizations, just cases, which is nearly double the number from just 2 weeks ago. That's according to a database put together by the New York Times. The spike comes as about 1 in 5 hospitals in the entire country with intensive care units, or roughly 600 hospitals, recently reported that at least 95% of their ICU beds are full. Do you hear that? Huh? We're not talking about Texas with that sentence. We're talking about hospitals across the country. 1 in 5 U.S. hospitals with intensive care units say that at least 95% of their ICU beds are full. And one of the worries now that health officials, health professionals are dealing with is whether or not this incredibly contagious Delta variant, which is surging across this country, might test the capacity of entire health systems. Let that sink in for a minute. That's horrifying. Hospitals in New Orleans, in Jackson, Mississippi, Miami, Huntsville, Alabama, have reached max points this week because the cases continue to rise in these various regions and elsewhere across the South. Do you notice where this horror is occurring? That's right. In the South, Trump country, Christian country, evangelical country, insane country. Texas is among several states now grappling with serious, dangerous surges of the Delta variant, which public health officials said recently is as contagious as the chickenpox. And what are these governors doing? Nothing. Nothing. Is this evil? Is this stupidity? Is this ignorance? Is it incompetence? I choose evil. And earlier this summer, and we're only halfway through summer, cases skyrocketed in Florida, Louisiana, Arkansas. And just like in those states, the vast majority of patients in hospital now in Texas are not vaccinated. The ones in ICUs are not vaccinated. The vast majority of those dying, 97%, are not vaccinated. So this sudden increase has refocused attention on the necessity, the efficacy of masks. And it comes as the state's sitting governor, this sick son of a bitch, Greg Abbott, this evil Greg Abbott, refuses to enact any statewide mandates that require masks. But not only that, like his evil doppelganger in Florida, the governor there, the ugly, horrifying DeSantis, Abbott also is prohibiting local officials from doing so in their own communities. He's not allowing local health departments, school boards to order people to wear masks if they're going to go into the public school system. So to help manage his evil incompetence, the sitting governor appealed this week, a couple days ago, to healthcare workers outside the state of Texas to travel there and help the overloaded hospitals. Are you out of your fucking mind, you evil little governor, you? Are you crazy? You don't think this is happening in other states around the South? And why should nurses, why should doctors, why should health personnel come to your filthy state with you, you evil little bastard, refusing to do your part to slow the surge, maybe even stop it, reduce the number of people in hospitals, in ICUs, on being intubated? You're not doing your part, you evil son of a bitch, but you're asking other people to come to your state to cover your evil incompetence. Go to hell, Greg Abbott. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.